Nero Claudius Caesar was the fifth Roman emperor and the last of what is known as Julio-Claudian dynasty. He is considered as one of the most notorious emperors of Rome. He ruled Rome from 54 AD to 68 AD. He is notoriously known for his political murders, debaucheries, persecution of Christians, and a passion for music that led to famously known apocryphal story that he fiddled while Rome burned in the Great Fire of 64 AD. But many historians declared it a rumor, as first of all he couldn't have fiddled, as fiddling was not even invented yet. Secondly, many historical accounts alluded towards his relief efforts during the fire. Nero was born to Gnaeus Domitius, a Roman consul, and Agrippina, who was the sister of Emperor Caligula and great-granddaughter of Emperor Augustus. Nero was still young when his father died and his mother was exiled by Emperor Caligula, so Nero was to be raised by his aunt. After the murder of Caligula, Claudius became the emperor. The ambitious Agrippina married Claudius and persuaded him to adopt her son Nero, and made him the heir to the throne. She also arranged for Nero to wed Claudius' daughter Octavia in 53 AD to further secure the throne. In 54 AD, Claudius died after eating poisonous mushrooms, which classical sources suggest were fed to him by Agrippina. Ultimately, Nero became the emperor at the age of 17. The first 5 years of his era were progressive. He granted Senate greater independence, curbed corruption, lessened the taxes, and banned the capital punishment. He banned the games that ended in bloodshed. Nero's mother wanted to rule Rome through her son. She tried to dominate him and to gain power for herself. She was furious when Nero preferred the advice of his teacher Seneca and the commander of Praetorian Guard Murderous. Agrippina became angry and began to plot against Nero. Eventually, she was murdered in 59 AD at Nero's command. When Murderous died and Seneca retired in 62 AD, the Emperor Octavia was exiled and executed. And in 62 AD, Nero married Poppaea Sabina, his mistress. 3 years after, he killed her in a fit of rage by kicking pregnant Sabina in her belly. He started to act crazy and spent a large amount of money on parties. Moreover, he began to perform in public. In 64 AD, a huge fire swept across Rome, destroying much of the city. Some accounts allude to his involvement, but nothing is certain. It is said with certainty that he was the beneficiary of fire, as it created space for his Domus Aurea, the Golden Palace. Nevertheless, he wanted a scapegoat, and Christianity, still a new and an underground religion, was a perfect candidate for it. This started an era of horror and persecution for Christians, as they were subjected to every possible brutal death. In the final years of his era, the empire went under great strains. In order to build Domus Aurea, the Golden Palace, he extracted money in every possible way. He sold positions of public offices to the highest bidders, took money from temples, and increased taxations that led to uprising in many provinces, including Britain and Judea. When things started falling apart, Nero gave himself to music and theatrical performances and drove a chariot in Greece. Ultimately, the governor of Spain, Galba, declared himself legate of Senate and Roman people. Soon the Praetorian Guard declared allegiance to Galba, and the Senate followed suit, declaring Nero an enemy of the people. Nero tried to flee to the east, where many provinces were still loyal to him, but when he realized that his arrest and execution were imminent, he committed suicide. In the centuries followed his reign, the name Nero became the symbol of debauchery, misrule, and anti-Christian persecutions.